Hey, I'm Brian Cohn of Code Knives. In this video, I'm going to finish setting up my new anvil by forging a tong and hammer rack. Let's get right into it. The very first thing I'm going to do here is drill some holes so I can attach the hammer and tong rack to the base of this anvil. It did take some time, but if you are careful, you can get through, and you definitely have to use a lot of pilot holes because this inch-thick steel plate is an absolute bear to drill holes through, so you're definitely going to need some pilot holes on this one. So let's go over what you just saw in that time lapse. So I made it through this inch-thick mild steel base plate that I'm securing my anvil to, and I drilled a half-inch hole. Now to get up to that half-inch hole, I had to go through a bunch of drill bits. So I did an 1/8 inch, which definitely took the longest, and I actually snapped both of my 1/8 inch bits because I put a little bit too much side torque on them. Those bits were just a little bit extra wobbly, and I went ahead and snapped them both by accident. But you know, if you're more careful than I am, then you can get through on an 1/8 inch drill bit. But I ended up going one step higher than that, and then I did a 1/4 inch after that, and then one more step between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch, and then I finished off with the 1/2 inch hole with the 1/2 inch bit. You know, if you take your time, you can get through it on really cheap Harbor Freight drills like I did. Honestly, I spent about $50 between the drill and some drill bits. You can make it through, and I made it through. So the next step here is I'm going to go ahead and forge out the tong rack. So my next step is I'm going to take my mild steel bar and I'm going to forge the end of it flat, and then I'm going to forge the shape of it, and then we'll go ahead and go on from there. On your first heat, you're going to want to go ahead and flatten off the end so that you can have a spot to drill a hole to attach it to the base. Now, when I made that first hit, you want to make sure to give yourself a little crease on the bar so that you can go ahead and flatten it off nice and easy without the bar moving around on you. So now I have that bar nice and flat. It's going to be absolutely perfect for attaching to the side of the anvil. On the second heat, you're going to want to put in your first 90-degree bend. Right here you can see I went and put a little bit of a crease to give me a pivot point for this thing to fold over. Honestly, it probably needed just a little bit more, so learn from my mistake and give it just a little bit more of a crease there. I took a few extra heats in this process just to make sure that everything is nice and squared off. A better blacksmith than me would be able to do the bend and the straightening all in one heat, but I'm definitely learning as I go here. Here you can see me sizing up where my next 90-degree bend is going to be. And here is where your last 90-degree bend is going to be. I went a little bit extra crazy with the crease to bend this thing over with. It's definitely a happy medium between this crease and the last crease. Making this 90-degree bend is definitely a balancing act. You got to make sure that as you're bending it, you're keeping everything nice and straight, or this thing is going to go cockeyed on you.
has that other straightening heat, a better blacksmith than myself would not need this heat. Here you can see me sizing this thing up again to see where my last little flat hold is going to be. I really need to invest in a hardy hole cutoff so I can ditch this angle grinder. On this last heat, I made my last flat hold. It was nice and handy to line up the other hold on the side of the anvil to make sure that they were nice and squared off. And this right here is why I hire a videographer normally to do my videos. I am such an idiot putting my elbow right in the way. Goodness.
Now, is this the ugliest tong and hammer rack that's ever been made? Yeah, probably, but honestly, I don't really care that much. This is a functional piece, not an art piece. So what I did is I went ahead and marked where the holes are going to be by putting these over the holes and then putting a Sharpie up through that hole and marking the spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump onto the drill press and get these drilled. Oh, I forgot to turn on the camera to drill these holes, so I'm gonna go ahead and recreate it here. Meow. Meow. Wow, those holes drilled really quick. That's a surprise. So here's all you need to finish your assembly, just a nut, a bolt, and a washer. So it's really stupid simple from here on out. Bolt, washer, and the nut there at the bottom. And all you have to do is just kind of attach these down and cinch them up. I'm gonna go ahead and spare you guys the agony of watching me tighten these things down, because I mean, you guys have tightened down bolts and nuts enough. You guys know what it's like. You don't need to see this. And there you have it, a nice easy project done. Is this the best tong and hammer holder out there? Absolutely not. Is this going to be the last one I'm ever going to make? Absolutely not. But this is going to get me through what I need for now. One of the things that I just thought of and what will work nicely is I went ahead and put some neodymium magnets down here at the bottom. That's just going to hold the bits of your tongs down in place, and that's just going to kind of hold it in this little area. And I think that that's going to work nicely. You know what? I'm really proud of the way this thing turned out, even though it's kind of ugly. That's another project done, and I really think that it's going to make my new anvil so much easier to use, because all of my tongs and hammers are going to be right there and accessible for me to go ahead and get pounding away on that steel. Hey, if you like that project, go ahead and check out my other videos here on YouTube. There's a bunch of knife making and other tool reviews, so go ahead and check that out. And if you like me as a person, check out my Facebook and Instagram and even my TikTok page. I'm always posting a lot of content there just to keep you guys nice and entertained. I appreciate your guys' support. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Have a good one.